In this video, we're going to be talking about the pandemic and how everybody got caught with their pants down. Coming up next. Welcome everybody. This is Retirement Rescue, where we talk about how to make money, save money, and live well in retirement. Today, we're talking about the coronavirus and how most people got caught unawares, not only emotionally, but financially. Now, there's no question no one could ever prepare for something like this. It happens quickly. You know, when the last recession happened and the market started to drop, it dropped very, very quickly. And even 10 years later, which is not that long, people really didn't perceive what that meant. I did a video recently about the lessons we learned from 2008, and one of the lessons we learned was you always have to be prepared. Now that's easy to say after the fact, but you know how it was just a few months ago, and you were thinking, yeah, I need to add some to my emergency fund. Yeah, I need to pay down my debt. Yeah, that's on my list. So now an actual emergency happens, and what do? Well, a lot of people are left with no money in their bank account, credit cards run up to the max, and they are out of options. So it's a really serious thing. It's easy when you listen to financial gurus who say, hey, you need 3 to 6 months worth of income in your emergency fund, and think, you know, but that's a lot. That's a lot, maybe just $1,000. Well, there are some people who spent $1,000 on toilet paper. How far did that money go? Not far. Most people are out of that $1,000. And especially for hourly people, people who work in restaurants, who work in the hospitality industry, a lot of them are looking at having no income for at least a month, maybe 2 months. At least. If they don't have 3 to 6 months worth of income in their emergency fund, and the vast majority of people don't, they're in a world of hurt. Now people are starting to understand why those things are so vital. Even though they're things we just rattle off, you know, oh, you need 3 to 6 months in your emergency fund. Well, guess what? You really do. It's also true that a lot of people are putting things on their credit cards. All of this panic buying they're doing, a lot of people are running up balances on high interest credit cards. Not only is a lot of that panic buying unnecessary, the financial fallout is going to come around and bite you in the behind, in the form of balances that you're going to be carrying over because you don't normally spend that. You're not going to pay off those credit cards in full. And so you're going to carry those balances. You're going to be paying interest. So the first thing you can do is not overspend. It's easy to get caught up in the panic. It's easy to think, oh my goodness, you know, the world's coming to an end. It's not. It's not coming to an end. Things will even out. But the best thing you can do is stay calm and not overspend. Another thing to notice is that credit has already started to tighten. Those really, really low interest rates that were available just a month ago, no longer available. At least not at that level. Banks are already starting to tighten credit. You're going to see credit card companies start to do the same thing. So just because you have a whole lot of unused credit doesn't mean it will still be there when you need it. You may get one of those letters, as so many of us did in 2009, that said, oh, guess what? We're closing your card. It could happen. So you need to be aware that that credit limit may not be there. And even if it is, using it or maxing out that credit card is not in your best interest. Now, as this pandemic and the financial fallout from it rolls through the larger economy, and that's already started, you'll see more and more people filing for unemployment, more and more people looking for jobs, and the job market will tighten. Other debt, mortgages, car loans that people have will begin to become very burdensome. So if there is any way in these early stages to get rid of that debt while you still can, now's the time to do it. If you can refinance and get a lower interest rate, do it now, because in a few months you won't be able to, period. One of the other things that's going to be happening, and you all probably have seen something on this already, is the FICO scores that are used for credit ratings are going to be adjusting in the summer. This is something they announced a while back. Well, once they start adjusting how they figure those scores, people who carry high balances are going to lose some of their credit score. So here again, if you need any kind of credit, if you need any sort of financial refinancing, you better do it now. Things are likely to change dramatically here in the next few months. Now, a lot of people are currently sitting at home, wondering what to do. Now, I work from home all the time, so it's not unusual for me. But for those of you who do have some time, you can sit down and start working on those online business ideas you have had. You can start working on creating those multiple streams of income, because if you only have that one stream of income, this pandemic has, I'm sure, showed you how tenuous that is, how hard that's going to be if you lose that stream of income. So while you're sitting at home, do more than just watch Netflix. Get online. Start figuring out how to start those online businesses. Start your blog. Start your YouTube channel. Get your Shopify store up and going. There's lots of education out there. You have the time. Make good use of it. I've also gotten a lot of questions, and I mean a lot of questions, about, okay, how do I invest? There are so many people who do have some funds that have been sitting on the sidelines, and now that the market has taken a big drop, they're eager to invest that money. But by and large, they're not big-time investors. They're beginners. And so while absolutely yes, when the market goes down, that is the time to invest. As Warren Buffett said, you know, when everyone else is being greedy, you be conservative. And when everyone else is being conservative, you be greedy. But let's think through this now. If you're a small-time investor, you have not necessarily had the time to accumulate the knowledge you need to start investing and investing well. So what I have told people is go with an index fund, go with something that spreads your risk. An index fund contains many, many companies. They're the ones that make up the index. And so it will track about what the market does. So if the market goes up, your fund will go up. It is very, very simple. It's very easy. There are some very low-cost index funds with Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab. All of those are great companies. They have low fees. You can start with very, very little money to start investing, and you can add to it. Now, I'm going to caution you here. If this is money you cannot afford to lose, do not jump into the market. One of the things you see small investors do is jump into the market, and the minute it goes down, they jump back out after having lost money. Let's take an example. If you invested last Friday, which was March the 16th, I believe, 15th, 16th, anyway, if you invested last Friday $1,000, and then you watched the market just over the last couple of days, today you would have about $850. Would you be okay with that? That's one of the questions you need to ask yourself. If you invest your money and the market immediately drops, are you going to be okay with that? Investing is a long-term proposition. It's not a short-term proposition. So whatever you invest in the market, you have to pretend like that money is not there anymore for you to use. So don't take your emergency fund and start investing it. Don't take money you would have spent paying down those credit cards and start investing it. Because if you have to yank it right back out, it's not doing you any good. And let's talk about those people who are telling you, oh, you should invest even if you have debt. Well, this is my take on it. Yes and no. If you have long-term debt like a mortgage or any kind of debt that is less than 5%, okay, let's look at that. If you have your emergency fund established and you're carrying long-term debt, absolutely, because that long-term debt is at a low interest rate. You're going to have it for years and years probably, and you want to start investing money and you have money to invest. Okay, great. Start investing. However, if you have a high interest credit card and you're paying 20, 22% or whatever that interest rate is, the broader market can never guarantee you 20% per year. But if you pay off that credit card, you are getting a guaranteed 20% return. So don't invest if you've got a high interest credit card debt that you're carrying over. Do not invest. Use that money, pay that credit card off first, and then invest that money. I'll be releasing another video where I talk in depth about investing for beginners and how you can get started. So join me on the next video. See you soon.